Hello, I'm Marta. I'm a crochet designer and I'm here in this podcast to share mostly crochet and a little bit of knitting. You might have noticed I am wearing my finished cardigan. This is the Mary Rebecca cardigan by Ellen Mason Design and I'll share that in a little bit. I've got 3 whips. I had 3 whips in the last podcast and as soon as I finished the cardigan I started something new, of course. So I still have 3 and I will share those, and it was my birthday last week so I've got a little bit of incoming to share too. So the cardigan, I finished it just the other day. I haven't blocked it, so you can see there's some slight issues here and there, in the sleeves in particular. They were worked in double pointed needles. The rest of it I worked on circulars. Here is a close-up of the lace and the cable. Isn't it lovely? I really enjoyed that. First time I've done anything like that in knitting. I'm still not entirely sure about this ribbing down the bottom. I'm hoping that a bit of blocking, it looks worse on this side, I'm hoping a bit of blocking is going to sort that out. This is the length of it. I popped a dress on especially to show it off. This is quite handy because this is a dress that I don't have anything really to go over that other than my denim jacket, so it's nice to have a pink cardigan in a similar colour to the darker pink pieces here. I got the buttons last week in Aberdeen. I got these in Wool for You up in the Rosemount area of Aberdeen, and isn't that just the perfect colour for this cardigan? I was so chuffed with them. I had made a few changes to the design. Firstly, the sleeves. Well, the sleeve in the pattern was a 3/4 sleeve and I thought I'd made it much longer, but I've ended up with somewhere between a 3/4 sleeve and a full length sleeve. I kind of thought that was what was going to happen when I tried it on, and I have decided what I'm going to do. I'll see how this works, but I'm going to start from about here and I'm going to start in the same way as this, but with less stitches, and I'm going to work the same increase until I have the same number of stitches as around here, and then I'm just going to sew it in and it'll be like a double cuff thing. I'll see how that looks. I can try it, and if it looks ridiculous I can either leave it, because actually it means I do have longer arms than the norm, so it's not too, it is slightly longer than a 3/4, but it's not too ridiculous. I shall see how I feel about it. What else was I going to say? I changed in the pattern from when the decreases started. You just started to decrease, knit 2 together from around about here. And then I think you did that just twice. So there were just 3 decreases in the pattern. I decided to go for a much softer decrease, and I just worked out how many stitches I had and it divided by 8, I think. So I started doing knit 6, knit 2 together, and then knit 5 a few rows later, knit 2 together, and so on until I got to here. My cardigan comes much higher. In the pattern it was only to about here. I wanted it higher. I did misunderstand. First time I'd ever done short rows. Well, I'd done them in a sock, but it was a long time ago and I don't remember. So it's the first time I've done short rows in a garment, and I didn't understand. I missed an asterisk. So although I went along almost to the end, back almost to the end, there again, and then finished the row, I think there was supposed to be, well, I don't think, there was supposed to be another bit in between. So there were 3 sets of short rows and I misunderstood that in each time. So effectively I missed a quarter of the potential short rowness, if you like. So it is slightly higher at the back than at the front, but I think it could have done, especially as I've gone higher, it could have done with more. I'll do it up. It does up nicely. And of course the fact that this panel has no shaping in it in terms of decreases does make that kind of go straight across. However, that was always going to be the case because of the pattern in it. There, I have done up all the buttons. Look. Like I say, I'm going to block it. And that should sort the little peplum I've got going on. But it's a good fit otherwise. Sorry, I didn't mean to sit down with such a wallop and jiggle my setup. But isn't it nice? I really like it. Really happy with it. And I would recommend the pattern. Definitely. It was easy enough for me to follow, and I am not that big a knitter, so it made sense to me, and I even managed to make a few changes to it. So yeah, overall I am very happy. The yarn, if you've been following me, the yarn is, or was, from a charity shop. I do not know what it is. I would guess that it's a Shetland wool, somewhere between 8-ply and 10-ply. I'd call it a 9-ply if I had to. It feels kind of scratchy, but that doesn't bother me in the slightest. I actually quite like it because there's no. It's the sleeves on the dress come to about here, and so this bit here is quite scratchy, and it's quite scratchy around the neck. But I quite like that scratchy. It's kind of grown on me. It feels warm. I like it. So I don't think I've got anything more to say on this one. I used less wool than the pattern called for. It said I would need about 700 grams. I haven't weighed, but I had something like 540 to begin with, and I've still got left over. Probably about 50 grams left over, I would say. With a guess. Got a ball about so big. Slightly bigger than a tennis ball. It came in 2 massive skeins. Just 2 skeins in a great big twist. They were about this size. I was so happy the day I found them. Well, I didn't quite find them. My friend Pauline sent me a message saying you've got to get to the charity shop and see the wool they have, and I chose this pink, and I think they were just £2 a skein, so bargain. The buttons were the most expensive thing, and buying the pattern itself. So yeah, here's a birthday present I have to show off. This one is from my youngest sister Eva. It's a vintage West Germany mug. I am guessing from the 70s, I'd guess. It's got the, can you just see it? I've got tea in it, I don't want to tip it too much. The made in West Germany underneath. And today I'm just drinking a black rooibos. Have a quick sip. There. So, speaking of today, I do have a little bit of FOMO because today is the day of the Woolly Gathering, the first day of that in Edinburgh. It's a 2-day yarn festival, and I was hoping to be there today, possibly tomorrow as well, and I just cannot get puppy cover. So I'm missing that, and I'm sure it's going to be an amazing festival, and I'm really hoping that it does all go well and I can make it next year. So I am trying to avoid social media a little bit because I am a little bit sad not to be going through and seeing all the people and the stalls and squishing the yarn. I do have, if you're there, I do have 3 items in the designer atelier, which I believe is going to be set up with sort of rails, and designers were able to either bring in person or send in some samples, and they were going to have a card on them with a QR code and info about the pattern and a QR code if you wanted to purchase. So that was pretty cool. I like that idea. And I can't wait to see some pictures how that actually looks. So, shall we go crochet? Let's go crochet. Next what I'm going to show you is my Princess Frog wrap. This is a beautiful pattern by Mariana Müller, which I purchased on Ravelry using the discount code from Claudia. If you catch this in time, I think until the end of the month, you'll be able to go and watch Claudia, that's Sunbird Crochet, watch Claudia's podcast, and a few episodes ago, you'll see it. It's called something like A Gift for You. That's the one you want to look for. And there is a code for all patterns by Mariana Muller, who is Sweet Crochet Dreams on Ravelry and on Etsy, and you can get a code. So I showed you this last time because I just got started with it, and I've made, have I got the right side for you? Here, I did have the right side for you. Here, we're making fantastic progress with this one. This is it. I think last time I was about here, and I have done all this. It is working out beautifully. I'm enjoying watching the colour changes, because if I show you the centre of the whirl, that's this bit here, look how different it is to where we are now. And if you don't know what the whirl is like, here I'm working from the inside out, and it's just going to get paler and paler until you get this sort of orange sorby colour. It's beautiful. And yeah, this is the Ship Hughes whirl, and it's 100 grams, and it's 60% cotton and 40% acrylic, and I have the colour Tangerine Tambourine, which is cool. It's my first time using one of these, and the only thing I'd say about it is the joins are driving me bananas, because every now and again you get a join like this. Let's see if I can get that to show up a bit better. There. You're getting a join like this every now and again. And obviously that's where the colour change, as you can see, the colour change is subtle. So where, if we were to start on the outside, where this palest colour joins the next palest colour, there will be one of those joins. I guess it's inevitable really, that's how they've created that colour change. So I am, two ways you could go about it. One, you could just crochet over it, which obviously I have not done. I don't trust that that is going to stay, and you would have this fluffy, annoying bit. So I am treating these like colour changes. So if I come across them, I'm just leaving the loop. Can you see? Let's find a shorter one I can probably show you better. At first I thought it was just a really bad whirl that I had, and I couldn't understand why it was just so full of joins. Here. So if I come across them, I just leave a loop about, what's that, 12 centimetres long? Times 2. So just over 20 centimetres. I leave a loop and I just treat it like a colour change. So I put the new yarn over on the last yarn over of the stitch. And also I'm trying to put them in this sort of bulky bit. You can see there's this bit which is quite flat, and then there's this bulky bit. So I'm aligning my joins as much as possible to the bulky bit, and then I will just when I've got about 5 or 6 of them, I get some scissors, cut the bulky bit here out, and tie a knot on the back and thread in, one goes one way, one goes the other way, and make those disappear as I'm going along, because you'll see I've dealt with them all down the bottom of the pattern, but I have quite a few at the top here. You can see the frequency of them. There's one on the other side. So it ends, if you maybe buy a whirl thinking I'll have nice colour and no yarn ends, think again, because you get all that. However, I mean, it's fine. If you know it's going to be like that, it'll be fine. I think it would be bugging if you were working on something flat and the yarn changes would show up more. I don't know, let me know. Have you used one of these? How did you find it? How did you deal with your ends? Did you do what I'm doing, or did you just carry on and crochet the whole lot together? I'm curious. Because initially I really liked the pattern. Pick it up off the floor. I really like this pattern. I love how, I mean, right before I started crocheting I had to make a couple of tassels. And then there's this contrast piece here that you had to keep a couple of meters back for. and that's going to be surface crocheted in. And I love that, and I was thinking of designing something myself. Obviously not copying this, but copying the idea of starting in the middle, keeping some aside for something, maybe whether that's pom-poms or some surface crochet, or just edging. That could be quite nice too. But I'm not sure if the changes are bugging me, or not. Maybe, yeah, I'm about halfway, I'd say. Close to halfway, maybe slightly more in here than I've crocheted so far. And yeah, overall I'm liking it. I'm definitely liking the pattern. I am really liking the pattern. I have learnt, if you ever do a design like this where your rows are getting longer and longer, I have learnt when I get to the end of the pattern side, because the other side's a bit like a return row in Tunisian or something. You're just going along doing a double crochet in each. But the pattern side, I have learnt when I get to the end to just take a moment and have a look and make sure that I haven't done anything stupid. Because at one point I discovered I had done the texture down one of these columns that wasn't supposed to have texture, and halfway up the column texture suddenly started sprouting, so I had to unravel a big chunk. So I've learnt, especially now that I have more stitches invested in a row, I have learnt to just check my work at the end before I turn, and that's all working out beautifully. So I would definitely recommend the pattern. I will get back to you at the end and let you know how I feel about the whirl. The stitch marker is really cute. It is a little, was it a cocktail? Is it a milkshake? A lemonade perhaps? I got this one from Motty and the Squid when I went to the Perthshire Yarn Festival last September. I was buying some yarn from her and I got that one. So I'm keeping that project in the sock bag simply because it's got a little inside zipper for me to keep those tassels and that piece of yarn I need for the end, which I've got. I measured it out and I've got it to one side. This bag's from So Yarnalicious, who I believe is at the festival in Edinburgh today. So shout out to her. Shall I go from one bag to the next? Because for my birthday, I chose myself this bag. It's Harris Tweed, as you can see on the little label there. It's beautiful. It's a lovely rainbow. It is lined. I've got a project in it, which I will share in a moment. Now, I bought this one at the Scottish Wool Producers Showcase in Perth last month, and I bought it, brought it home, gave it to my husband to give to me for my birthday. It is from Calloch Shek Ellen, and I believe she is at the festival in Edinburgh today too. And I really liked her bags. They are predominantly Harris Tweed. Some nice rainbow ones, some plainer ones. They are all lined. She does a bigger bag as well, and she dyes some yarn too. So in here immediately I have popped my latest cast on, so we're onto knitting again. I have started a pair of socks. There's the colour a bit better. This is the pattern that I have been promising I've got that inside out, because I was having a look. I spoke about the ribbing on this cardigan. So for these socks I have done a twisted rib, and that has proved much snugger for me. There, let's focus camera. Let's put my face right out of the way. Is that going to focus in? Is that better? Not sure. So I decided to experiment, and I've done a twisted rib. So of course if you flip that inside out it looks normal, but I believe it's slightly tighter than my usual rib. I'm making, apart from that twisted rib, I am making a vanilla pair of socks, and these are for my sister's partner. They have a cute little whaley stitch marker, and the yarn for these I chose out of the Woolly Brew in Pit and Weem. and it's all from my Mama Knits, who is a Glasgow-based indie yarn dyer. And this is on their Chowfunga base, which is superwash merino sock, and it's 75% merino, 25% nylon, your standard sock base. The colourway for this one is actually not that one. That is my main colourway band. Oh, I don't have it here. I don't have the band. So this was just a mini skein, and my main colourway I just wound this morning is this one, and the colourway is Siren. So I'm going to pair these together. Whoa, it's going to be lovely, isn't it? Really, really nice. This colour just makes me think of Matt, my sister's partner. He wears that colour a lot. And this makes me think of the sea around about them on the East Nuke. So these are going to be for Matt. I am just finished, throwing needles around. I've just finished the cuff, and I'm going to start on the leg. I'm using my driftwood double pointed needles from Leica, and this is wound in a ball and not a cake because the rubber band, not like a cheapy rubber band, but the belt, the rubber belt is probably a better word for it, on my yarn winder has snapped. So I still have my Swift, so I was able, fortunately I had that to put my skein around, and then I just had to wrap by hand this morning. It's quite satisfying actually. Took me a while, but it was quite satisfying to work in a ball. I've got used to working in a cake, but I like to get it really round, and I'm quite happy with that one. I was having to go really fast because the dog was wondering what I was up to. Had him up and about in the room as I was working on it. So I'm going with vanilla sock for that, and for my vanilla sock I tend to use Winnick Mum's pattern. That is Christine's. You can find it on her blog. It's a free pattern. Loads of people use it. I think it's called Basic Socks by Winnick Mum, and hundreds, thousands of people use her program to learn how to knit socks. So I'm looking for something basic for these socks. Don't need to think about it. I will only have to look at it really for the maybe a little bit around the heel. Other than that, I will just go for it. So let me grab another quick sip of tea. And what shall I show you? More incoming or more crochet? I'll go with the crochet. I will go with the crochet. I didn't really have a plan before I sat down this afternoon. As usual, with the puppy sleeping, I'm having to just work quickly, get him down. He's in his crate sleeping. Pull everything through. This is my son's room at the moment. Pull everything through here. Hope I've not forgotten anything. And just start. No real plan. So this has had a wee bit of love. Roughly every 2 weeks I get about one colour done, I have noticed. So in the last 2 weeks I got this pale colour done, and when I get to the end of this row I'll be back into the dark pink. So this is the Not So Granny wrap. It is almost the same colour as my cardigan. It was fun when I was working on these on the same day, and I would have them sitting out together. So I'm almost finished this one. I have just got another dark pink stripe, a greyish stripe and a pink. So basically here to here is what I have to do. And then it will be finished. It's a decent size. It's so drapey. You can see just how light this is because it's lace weight yarn, and I love it. I'm not going to talk too much more about it because I've had it out most podcasts for the last wee while. Actually, I'll get out my wee project book and I can tell you how long. So if you want to know more about that one, I would suggest you flick back, check my last podcast. I spoke about it in more depth in that one. So I've got my yarn journal here. Here is the Not So Granny wrap. I started it, wow, the 13th of February 2023. I did not realise it was quite as long ago as that. So this is my wee yarn notebook. I keep notes in it. I have just let's find a good page. They're all good pages, but let's find an interesting one and I can show you. I'll tell you what, here's the sunset song. So I'd note whether it's a crochet project or a knitting project. The day I started it, they all get a huge gold star when they're finished. And I put the yarn down here. Each project tends to have this page and the page behind it. If I was starting a new book, I would probably work pages like double so you can see the whole thing on one page. However, but it works quite well actually, because over the page then I have the ball band and a little bit about the yarn, a little bit about the project. Here it is here. Sunset Song is a sleeveless top that I have in Yarn Magazine issue 4, I believe. Is that the one it went in? Let's see. Yeah. So it's in the Journal of Scottish Yarns issue 4, which came out later on last year. I have been working on up-to-date projects in here. And I will show you this year's ones. I probably haven't shared this one. That is my Hobbit Advent one. So I've still got the yarn to pop in. I haven't done that yet. I didn't do all 24. I drew a wee frog. If you've been watching me, you knew I frogged that when I finished. Here's my Christmas Eve cast on page. So I really enjoy just being creative, creating these headings for it. That one's got a gold star. Those were the socks for my dad's birthday. I haven't showed you this for ages. My princess frog wrap. I tried a little princess drawing. And I've got stickers down the bottom. Is that the latest one? Yes, I have not started a new page for the socks, which I just started 2 days ago. Yeah, I believe I began them 2 days ago. And that leads me into something else creative. My husband's uncle, Tony, gave me this card. It just arrived yesterday. He was a little bit behind. It arrived yesterday and he loves to get creative. So I think he's pulled apart maybe the latest issue of Crochet Now or something, and he's got the crochet and a bit of Captain America going on. The whole book has a little bit of a theme. Like here's Captain America in a jumper. And he's a horsey person. He loves riding horses. So he's put that together there. Oh, this is one of my favourite pages, the sheep and another crochet bird at the back. So he just obviously had a lot of fun with this one, and thank you, Tony. I really enjoyed that. It arrived yesterday, and yeah, it always just puts a big smile on my face when I receive those. It was definitely worth waiting for. He did send me a message saying it would be a little bit late, and it came yesterday. Whew. Other birthday things that came on time. This yellow. Yellow is at the moment one of my favourite colours. I used to say it was orange. Goes well with that pink, doesn't it? I am definitely loving yellow. You'll see in a moment I have more yellow to show you. Now this is from Rusty Ferret. I have shared a few of LJ's yarns before in the past. Sadly, she is taking a pretty big break, and that is all her yarn being cleared out. I'm not sure. If you go take a look, I'll link. She has maybe got some left. I think last day I saw she was plugging to get it all sold. So I managed to nab one of these in her doll base, which is your typical 75-25 sock yarn, and the colourway is gold. It's lovely. I really like it. I have just heard my puppy wake up. I wonder if I can get him through here and record the last bit with him around. I will stop and get back to you in a minute. Here I am just moments later with a very sleepy puppy. You gonna be sleepy? You gonna look at my wool? Look, I've got this nice yellow one. Now this has come from Juanita, who is Simple Natural Handmade, and she was getting rid of some yarn because she is downsizing and going to be starting a new venture. I am curious to see what she gets up to. She has 2 spaniels, so this no doubt smells spaniely. Do you want to see the other one? Oh, yellow is one of his favourite colours. He loves yellow. Yes, you do. You love ear licks too, don't you? So I got those 2. One has got little tweedy bits through it, and one is a sock yarn. Both have been dyed with natural yarns, and they arrived just the other day. Do you want to see them again? Do you want to see them again? Oh, look. Yes, he says. I will chew that one up nicely for you. I will. Right. Well, you've been a pretty good puppy. I think that'll do for your little slot today. He's got his big teeth now, haven't you? Mostly. The front ones are all big teeth. They are. You're a wriggly thing. Let me out the wool. Also, let me in Jamie's room, because you don't normally get in this room, do you? You're having a good look around. Jamie has a soft toy that he likes. I think he's looking at it. Right, I will leave you there, folks. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it, and let me know what you've been working on as you've been watching along, listening along, and I shall see you again in a couple of weeks. Bye bye. Oh, bye bye. Bye bye.